So we notice that it takes about 10 years for the nation to recharge from a state of disappointment and deflation. There are hostile and opportunistic forces who know this very well, and for that reason they either try to extinguish that fire, which we saw in the first two examples, or they use that accumulated energy for their own benefit, which we saw in the last two examples. Considering all this, we can make a logical deduction and come to the conclusion that the nation is now in the process of recharging. Therefore, in all likelihood, that accumulated energy will reach its peak in the near future. Of course, we cannot ignore the major upcoming changes in the world order, which will be directly linked to the coming great crisis. Just as it was 100 years ago today, the world is on the brink of a serious economic crisis, because the economies of America, Europe, Turkey, the major Arab and Asian countries, and especially Russia, are deteriorating more and more year by year. This time, the coming crisis will be even bigger due to various factors, considering that the world today is more interconnected than ever before. The collapse of the Russian Federation is what interests us most at this moment, because it will directly affect us in an extremely significant way. Because unfortunately, due to the Kremlin, Armenia has a semi-colonial status and is in every respect dependent on that loathsome federation. It is our conviction that just as the Soviet Union broke up into various large republics after the end of the Soviet-Afghan War, so too will the Russian Federation break up into various large regions years after the end of the Russo-Ukrainian War. The 3-century-old Russian Empire is on its deathbed and is living out its final years. However, as I have repeated many times, with every crisis comes an opportunity. And these events will give us a historic opportunity to finally break out of the pathetic Russo-Turkish cage and achieve real independence. This tells us, the dignified Armenians, that we must prepare from this moment on for that fateful time, so that we use the gradually accumulating energy in the right direction, one that will truly serve our common national and state interests. If we, the Armenian nationalists, fail to use this energy correctly this time, opportunistic and agent scoundrels will appear who will once again and for the last time disappoint our nation, ultimately leading our homeland into the abyss. That is why it is very important that we continue to develop our national movement. We are obliged during that coming tide to show our compatriots the right and victorious path, because that will be our last chance.